Aloha everyone. So it's been about 4 months since the devastating wildfires in Lahaina. And we've had some rain, we had some nice days of sun, so we're starting to see things start to green up. I figured today would be a good day to get the drone up in the air and see what kind of progress has been made in Lahaina Town. Let's go take a look. So I was able to capture just about the entire burn zone for today's video. It actually takes 3 separate drone flights stitched together. And in this video, we're going to start at the southernmost tip of Lahaina. As you can see, we're flying over Puamana right now, the area that escaped most of the damage from the fire. And we're going to be heading north all the way up into the Wahikuli neighborhood. By the way, I'm going to include timestamps in the description down below for each neighborhood that we fly through. So if you have a particular neighborhood that you're interested in seeing updated drone footage for, and you want to skip right to that neighborhood, go ahead and check out the timestamps. But the whole video is worth watching because I'll share some nuggets all the way through. Okay, so now we're coming up on the area still in Puamana that did receive a lot of damage from the fire. Now we're coming up on Front Street. This is the southernmost tip of Front Street that curves up to the highway. So I'm sure there'll be a lot of people that watch this video and think that there really has not been a lot of progress as far as the cleanup. But do keep in mind that the EPA's focus was on removing hazardous materials first as a phase 1 of this project, which has just been completed, and now we're moving into phase 2, which is actually the debris removal. You'll also notice a lot of work trucks lined all the way up and down Front Street. I don't know for certain, but it looks like they are doing some work on the power lines. Now we're coming up on the condominium complex Lahaina Shores. That's the high-rise building to the left of the screen. Lahaina Shores appears to be mostly undamaged, but just beyond it is 505 Front Street, which was a small little shopping center with restaurants and that sort of thing, completely destroyed by the fire. By the way, on the return flight later in the video, I will be farther inland, so if you're not seeing your neighborhood in this particular pass, you might catch it later in the video. Okay, so now we're coming up on Lahaina Wharf. To the left, you can see the Lahaina Harbor, and more in the center of the screen is the Banyan Tree. The good news is the Banyan Tree does show signs of life, so that is a really important landmark that I know a lot of people are really happy to see is likely to survive the fire. Okay, so starting a new flight. As you can see, we're over the Lahaina Harbor right now, and again flying towards the Banyan Tree. This time as we fly over the Banyan Tree, see if you can notice the green leaves. Okay, now we're coming up on Front Street once again, just about to fly directly over the top of Front Street. Of course, still heading north through the center of Lahaina Town right now. This is the historic district that was so greatly loved. The cross street we're about to fly over right now is Lahainaluna Road, which is another prominent landmark here in Lahaina Town. The building that's still standing with the blue roof is the building that used to hold Foodland grocery store. The next cross street here is Papalau Street. Just on the other side of Papaleo Street is the beginning of the outlets of Maui. The next cross street we're coming up on is Baker Street. This is where the Channel House apartment condos were. Also about to fly right over the Seamen's Hospital Museum. And the corner of Front Street and Kanui Street. To the left, you can see a baby beach off in the corner. At the top of the screen, way off in the distance, you can see Kaanapali. So the Kaanapali hotels and condos, the high rises there. Mala Wharf to the left. Coming up on the Kahoma Stream. And just on the other side of the Kahoma Stream is the Cannery Mall. So the Lahaina Cannery Mall, which is where we have Safeway and Long's, both of which are now operational. To the left, you can see the old Lahaina Luau. Again, this is an area right in the center of town that escaped a lot of damage from the fire. As we continue on past the Lahaina Cannery Mall, this is where the fire damage continues. So again, there's a lot of older buildings that were the most impacted by this fire. Still flying right over a Front Street right now. You can see where the highway is going to intersect with Front Street here, coming up pretty quick. And the large building to the left of the screen is Lahaina Roads. Picking up a new flight, again starting at Lahaina Roads and flying north as we come up on the intersection of Front Street and the Honoapi'ilani Highway. Again, you still see a lot of these work trucks with cranes up in the air. Looks like they are working on the power lines. Now we're coming up on the Wahikuli neighborhood. This is the neighborhood that is the farthest north that was most impacted by the fire. In a second here, we're going to jump across the highway, start a new flight, and continue flying north over the top of Wahikuli. Just to give you perspective, we started looking south towards the direction we just came from. And as I spin around here, we're going to continue heading in the same direction that we were before, heading north just over the Wahikuli neighborhood. Now, moving forward, my intention is to do monthly or bi-monthly drone flights just like this over Lahaina, trying to capture just about the entire burn zone in an effort to keep everybody updated on the progress. And as I had mentioned previously, it might look like there has not been a whole lot of progress in the first 4 months. But do keep in mind that the EPA was focused on just removing the hazardous materials. That phase of removal has just been completed, and we're now moving into phase 2, which is the debris removal. Authorities estimate that there's some 400,000 tons of debris that needs to be removed and relocated safely. So it is going to be quite the project moving forward. My hope is the next time I do a flight just like this, we're going to start to see more progress, more noticeable progress with the removal of debris. And of course, that debris removal is the next step before we can start to rebuild, which is going to be the exciting part. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel and you're curious to follow along as we go through the recovery process here in Lahaina, feel free to subscribe. I intend to keep everybody updated in the most balanced and unbiased way possible, with a focus on what we're going to do moving forward rather than what happened in the past. Okay, so that's pretty much as far north as the fire traveled. So there's not a whole lot of fire damage moving north from here. So we're going to turn around, head south. We're going to do a full pass of the entire burn zone, heading south, and we're going to take a little bit of a different path this time to try to capture more area. So we're going to focus a little bit more inland in some areas. We'll also capture some of the baby beach when we get to that area, and also head up into the Lahainaluna neighborhood and Shark Pit as well. Now, that being said, if there's any particular area that you would like me to focus on future drone videos, feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section below. I'm happy to try to capture particular areas for people if anything is missed. I try to do these videos in the most systematic way possible to capture as much of the burn zone as possible, but that's not always easy to do because there is a lot to see. Okay, so that's pretty much the end of the Wahikuli residential neighborhood. You can see a yellow building kind of center top of the screen. That is the Gateway Center, where we have Ace Hardware, Ross, and Foodland Farms, which, of course, those are all still operational, fully opened right in the center of Lahaina Town. Okay, so starting a new flight. This time we hopped across the Honoapi'ilani Highway. Again, we're still heading south and about to fly over the Safeway building. Honu and Malo restaurants are at the bottom of the screen right now. Again, we're going to fly right over the old Lahaina Luau, and we're heading towards Baby Beach. Now we're about to fly over the Mala boat ramp, and we're coming up on the cemetery that is right on Baby Beach. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see the Lahaina Jodo Mission, which was the old Buddhist temple, another prominent historic landmark in Lahaina that unfortunately we lost. And now we're flying right over the top of Baby Beach. If you've watched any of my past videos of Lahaina, you'll know that Baby Beach was one of my favorite beaches to visit in all of Maui. Of course, I'm a little bit biased because it was just a 4-minute walk from my house, so I spent a lot of time in that sand. Okay, as we pan up, you're going to see the Pioneer Mill smokestack off in the distance, another prominent landmark here in Lahaina. And as we come to the end of the beach, we're going to start to veer more inland. On the left-hand side of the screen, you'll see a row of houses that look pretty much undamaged from the fire. That is Kahoma Village. That's my neighborhood and also where my house is. I didn't capture a whole lot of Kahoma Village in this video, but if you want to look at some of my past videos, I do a pretty thorough tour of the neighborhood from the ground. At the top left of the screen is the Opukea condominium complex. About half the buildings in Opukea did burn down, the other half are still standing. Okay, crossing the highway now. And off in the distance, you can see the Lahainaluna neighborhood. Fire damage continues all the way up to the bypass highway, and that's pretty much the cutoff where the fire stopped in that direction. Another work truck rolling around. You can see the boom lift on the back. If anybody knows exactly what type of projects these trucks are doing, all these trucks with the boom lifts, feel free to write it in the comments. I would be really curious to know exactly what they're working on. Okay, so starting a new flight heading south, this time starting from Coahoma Village and heading towards Front Street again. So in this clip, we're going to take pretty much the same path that we took heading north, but you will get a little bit of a different perspective from this angle. A couple more minutes into the video, we're going to turn inland and we're going to go over the Shark Pit neighborhood as we head towards Puamana to finish off the aerial tour. To the right and directly oceanfront is where Cheeseburger in Paradise was. Okay, so starting the last flight here as we head in the southern direction, this time more inland, taking a little bit of a different path than we did on the way north. Pretty soon here we're going to be coming up on the Shark Pit neighborhood. That is an area that I've had a number of people reach out to me and ask if I can get some aerial shots of that particular neighborhood. Right now we're coming up on Shaw Street, and off in the distance on the left side of the screen you can see the Honoapi'ilani Highway. So it's going to be really interesting to see how long it takes the Army Corps of Engineers to remove all the debris from the fire. The estimated timeline that I have seen for phase 2 of the debris removal is that it'll take the better part of 2024. So essentially it's going to be a 1-year project is what they're anticipating at this point. A big part of phase 2 is building a containment area to safely dispose of the ash and debris. As of right now, the proposed site for the containment field is in Oluwalu, so it's just a few miles to the south and still on Maui's west side. Okay, so we're coming up on the end of the Shark Pit neighborhood and starting to enter into the Puamana area. So you might want to share this video with anybody you know that has ties to Lahaina Town. I know it can be difficult to find up-to-date information on exactly what is happening now in Lahaina and what is going to happen moving forward. It seems like a lot of the content out there is focused on what happened in the past, how the fire started, and who's to blame, where my objective is to focus on what the solutions are and how we're going to move forward into the recovery. And if you appreciate the time and energy it takes me to put these aerial tours together, smash that like button. It helps the YouTube algorithm. And I hope to see you guys on the next video. Aloha.